Hello and welcome to my video log number 3, where I hosted Pratik for an interaction and to share my culture with him. So originally the plan was we were going to go to the Dublin Square Irish pub just off campus and eat some food and talk there. But unfortunately that plan was dashed because it was Easter and it was closed, which actually really surprised me because in California where I grew up, you don't have like half of the businesses all closed because it's Easter. And so that was a little surprising to me. So instead, we went downstairs and we played some pool and we talked down there. So in trying to explain my culture to him, I had to really look at myself and go, what is my culture? And I came to the conclusion that, my culture is really my family. So growing up, it was, my family unit that was the core for the extended family that we always saw was my mother's father, so my grandfather on my mother's side. And it was very patriarchal. He was the core of the family, and everyone, we came together around him. So to understand my grandfather and how my parents grew up and how I was raised growing up and how that's affected my culture, you need to know that my grandfather raised my parents with one sole goal in mind, and that was being able to succeed in America. So my grandfather was the son of an immigrant, so he was the first generation, and he wanted my mom to be able to succeed. So there was a lot of Greek culture that was left out when she was being raised. One example of this is that she didn't even know he spoke Greek until she was 19 when they went on a trip to Greece and he started speaking with a taxi driver and she was like, "Well, this is out of nowhere." So my mother was raised in that, and then I was raised in the similar situation where it's what do we need to do so that I can succeed, and so that's how I was raised. So so my culture really is, the family values. Family always gets together. We always met every holiday, every birthday. Family comes first. Family is everything to us. One example of this that's really affected my life is when my uncle had a stroke. I actually went and moved in with him for 9 months and helped him with everything from, in the beginning months, helping him get out of bed, helping him shower, helping him change, cooking his food until the end when he could begin to do those things for himself. So that's an example of how tight our family bonds are. And Pratik remarked when I was telling him this that that's not something that an American family would do. So while I was raised to be successful as in America, it I still have this separation where I have these values that at least as Pratik said in his experience that aren't traditionally held by Americans, at least to that extent. So so that really surprised me to realize that. Another thing that was surprising to me was how similar the family values between me and Pratik were, where my family in Sacramento, we all lived in different houses. My four aunts and two uncles, each of them had a house of their own, so there were like 7 or 8 houses in Sacramento, but we would always get together at one house, once or twice a month. And the same thing for him, where his entire extended family lived in one city and they would all get together, you know, every 2 weeks or so. So it was interesting to see that we actually have more similarities there than I thought we would. And so, so that was the thing that surprised me most. That was the thing that I felt strongly about. I just thought it was really interesting to really think about my own culture and like what is my culture actually and how much of it is American and isn't American. I'm actually really looking forward to for when he hosts and I get to learn more about his culture and his interactions in the US and all that. Thanks for watching.